Good afternoon, everyone. These are Millie and Freddie, my two doggies. Millie's a cross between Jack Russell and Westie, who loves playing with balls. And Freddie is a cross between Border Terrier and Westie, who follows us everywhere around the house. And Millie and Freddie are half siblings. And like most doggies, they don't do well with fireworks. It was bonfire night in England, when people usually light fireworks. The bam, bam sent Millie and Freddie fidgeting and whining. Alexa, play something to calm down Millie and Freddie, my partner called out. And just like that, Millie and Freddie soon calmed down, as if Amazon's Alexa knew that the rock hits of Radiohead were just what we needed to drown out the fireworks. Artificial intelligence is rapidly transforming the most intimate fabrics of our human existence, how we care for our families, including doggies. Parents ask Alexa to read their children a bedtime story. Humanoids are cleaning some houses, and emotional chatbots converse with lonely family members. In this talk, I use the term Care AI to refer to diverse products and services powered by artificial intelligence, including natural language processing, machine learning, generative AI, and smart robotics to provide care in our everyday family lives. With the proliferation of AI, care is increasingly manufactured. For some, this paints a utopian future, while others fear an apocalypse where AI is going to end it all for us, like a Terminator. But treating AI as a learning opportunity today, I ask, what can we learn about care from AI? As we are right in the middle of a global care crisis, facing a shortage of care on the one hand and stark inequalities in the provision, reception, and value of care on the other. What can we learn from the manufacturing of care about this ongoing crisis? I propose the Care AI triangle as a framework for us to explore those questions from three perspectives: simulation, augmentation, and transmutation. First, simulation. The idea that AI is designed to mimic us is not new. We saw that in the Oscar-winning film, The Imitation Games, about how Alan Turing, the founding father of modern AI, created one of the first prototypes of modern AI in the imagined figure of his young love, Christopher. Going beyond this somewhat romanticized story, AI is rapidly walking into our homes. According to the International Federation of Robotics, the annual global sales of household service robots increased from just 2 million in 2010 to nearly 50 million last year in 2023. Can AI replace our care then? Not quite. Researchers from Oxford calculated the probability of AI replacing different domestic tasks in the next couple of decades. While routine chores such as dishwashing, laundry, and ironing are highly likely to be, and in a sense already partly automated, tasks such as physical care, educating our children, and taking care of an ill family member are highly unlikely to be automated by AI in the near future. Why is it so hard for AI to replace how we care? Let's have a brief look into how Care AI evolved and the challenges along this journey. To start, to understand our care needs and mimic how we care, we know that the training of large AI models like Alexa draws on a huge amount of data from our personal lives. This also means that highly gendered, racialized, and classed and unequal history and current state of care is very much mirrored in the manufacturing of Care AI. Biased AI can marginalize minoritized groups, for example, by insufficiently recognizing and meeting their care needs. And such marginalization results in those groups' under-engagement or non-engagement with AI, and such non-engagement results in their further underrepresentation in the training data, and it goes on. To debias AI, a lot of efforts have been put into algorithm design. AI engineers quite often reweight the training data to match demographic parity or remove features like gender and race from the models. Yet such techniques are not only limited in reducing bias, they also present a new problem. They substantially compromise in the predictive accuracy. which goes against the very nature of care that is very personalized. Here, childcare presents an ultimate test. We know that children are yet to be fully socialized into predictable norms. This not only means our interactions with them are full of pleasant surprises, it also presents a formidable challenge for AI to accurately predict children's needs, behaviors, and emotions. As it turns out, just being smart is not enough for care AI. We know that care is emotional and quite often physical. That's where embodiment kicks in. To meet our care needs, the latest care AI has gained affective intelligence by detecting and responding to our facial expressions, gestures, and body movements. And they have also gained physical form. Digital touch is created to mimic a hug, and biological AI is created to mimic our heartbeats, a tremble in our voice, and blush on the face. Scholars found that we trust in AI more when they sound and look like us, and particularly when such sounds and looks are feminized. That's why looking across a range of humanoids, we have Sophia and Annika, but much less often Tony or David. That's why we have Amazon's Alexa, but not Alexis. Scholars coined the term the Big Mother effect to capture this very feminized use of those feminized characteristics in care AI to captivate its users. If AI cannot quite replace our care, at least not in an equitable way, can we at least count on it to enhance our care? With augmentation, AI is also known as augmented intelligence. The need to augment our care implies deficiencies in how we care. What are we not doing well enough? Care augmentation promises to enhance our care by overcoming our sensory, cognitive, temporal, and spatial limitations. Smart wristbands, for example, are used to track older family members' vital signs, detect the falls, and predict health issues. Parents also use AI-powered apps to keep an eye on their children's whereabouts, and such apps also gather geocoded intelligence to assess child safety levels. Much highlighted is the ability of AI to transcend time and space because it works round the clock and is always aware. Like many of us sitting here today, I live in a transnational family, away from many of my family members. But Care AI promises to extend our reach so that we can be there with them in both function and spirit. At first, round the clock, always aware, sound seamlessly perfect. But thinking about them again makes me feel a little creepy. Watching over our families 24/7 often imposes an unwelcome surveillance over our family lives. And thinking about always aware again, it makes me anxious and exhausted, not because AI never sleeps, but because the manufacturing of always aware care elevates the normative expectation that ideal care should be constant round the clock. It instills a sense of deficiency that we are not caring enough, and there is always more to do. As the geek in my family, to extend my care across 8 time zones and 5,000 miles from England to China, I equipped my 83-year-old grandma's apartment with Care AI, a smart vacuum, a smart wristband, an automated medicine dispenser that reminds her of which pills to take and when, you name it. It was one afternoon last month when I was just working on this talk. My phone alarm rang, alerting me that my grandma had a fall. It instantly sent my whole family into turmoil. As I woke up my parents in the middle of their night, they dashed across the city and rushed my grandma to the hospital. In the meantime, I felt absolutely helpless, that no AI could extend my arms long enough. My grandma broke her hip, but is recovering well. It turned out that the smart vacuum programmed to be most considerate and only hoovers the kitchen at night when my grandma usually sleeps, tripped her over as she got up to grab a glass of water. But the smart wristband also saved her life. As I think about it again, the time-space contingency exposed by AI in our care tells us not only of the limitations of our individual care capacity, but also weaknesses in our care infrastructure that are yet to keep pace with the rapid and drastic changes in how we do families today, including the very localized transnational challenges arising from our global mobilities. Through simulation and augmentation, we just briefly looked at how we make and use AI in care. In order to understand the manufacturing of care, it is equally important for us to ask, how is AI manufacturing us? Here I use the term transmutation to capture the impact of AI on how we care and what has become of care. AI imposes predefined values on who is worthy of care. In my home, Alexa did not naturally know that the rock hits of Radiohead were good for calming down doggies from fireworks. We had to change our behavior to come up with a workaround. It was not until after we registered Millie and Freddie as our teenage children did Alexa finally recognize their needs beyond its predefined constraints. In our case, such constraints include a lack of recognition of non-humans. But in many other cases, it can be a lack of recognition of vast family diversities, gender, class, sexuality, race, place, and culture. As we adapt our expectations and behaviors to cater to how AI thinks, works, and cares, AI is still silly, changing how we feel and what we do in caring for our families. Always aware AI, for example, has turned many of us into modern anxious warriors. We used to ring up our kids and say, hey, where are you? What are you up to? Now with AI-powered tracking apps, concerned parents are glued to their phones, and our kids have become little dots moving on our screens we watch from afar. And mediated by AI, our care has become so intense, yet so distant. AI is also transforming the social organization of care. With the proliferation of care AI, we are increasingly automated into individualized responsibilities of purchasing our own smart products and services. And unprecedentedly, we are expected to hold together an increasingly fragmented care infrastructure between the private and public sectors and across a range of tech providers. So, what can we learn about care from AI? Simulation teaches us that care is difficult, if not impossible, to simulate, and efforts at simulation quite often reproduce care inequalities. Augmentation has undoubtedly enhanced our care capacity, but it has also elevated the intensity, emotional, cognitive, and digital labor of care, which is quite often unevenly divided between different family members and across different social groups. And transmutation tells us that AI is manufacturing us and how we care. Bringing together simulation, augmentation, and transmutation, I highlight that a relational understanding of the iterative relationship between them, on the one hand, how we make and use care AI, on the other hand, how AI is manufacturing us, is crucial to grasping how care AI works and where we are headed. To end my talk, we know that most existing developments in AI take simulation both as a starting point and an end objective. But if AI is truly going to help us tackle the raging global care crisis, I propose that we need to reverse the care AI triangle, to start with how we would like to care and what kind of changes are needed, and then design and deploy AI to meet the changes we need, not just to mimic us. That's why we need to lead the AI revolution as family and work scholars. Thank you.